Hello, friends, and good evening. Welcome to the Whitman-Walker Going the Extra Mile event supporting the amazing legal services team. I'm Rachel. That right there is Rob. We're going to be your host for this evening.
We are so thrilled to be here with you this evening, and we're going to accomplish three things. First, we're going to celebrate the amazing work that Whitman-Walker Legal Services does through its volunteers, through its staff. Everybody here makes an impact. Second, we are going to raise some money, not only so that this fabulous program can continue, but so it can grow. And last, we're going to have some fun. Rachel and I are going to entertain you.
Well, Rob, you got it all in there. And on top of that, let's tell them about our connections to Whitman-Walker Legal Services.
Yeah, let's do it. Ladies first.
Thank you. Well, first, I'm a regular volunteer and cheerleader for the Name and Ginger Change Clinic. That is when we had them pre-COVID. Right now, everything is virtual. Clients are calling and emailing by the dozens, and the legal team is connecting them to all of our amazing volunteers.
And Rachel, like you, I'm a volunteer at Whitman-Walker. My history goes back to the early 90s, not only when people had HIV, but they were dying of AIDS. I became Whitman-Walker's first general counsel, and I continue to volunteer every year through the Medicare Part D clinic. I believe in this program. It makes a difference in our community.
Well, and that's why we're here tonight, to share with you all fantastic clients, volunteers, and staff members who make Whitman-Walker go.
That's right, folks. We're going to share with you some amazing stories. We're going to share some music. We're going to have some fun, and we are going to raise some money.
We are currently live on Whitman-Walker's Facebook and YouTube. Share the streaming link in your browser and with your friends. Have them join, comment, and most importantly, donate.
And folks, there are two ways that you can donate. One, if you look below me right now, you will see a link you can click on and give through that. There's also a QR code. You can take out your favorite phone, which I know is there with you, take a photo of the QR code, and then voila, you can give that way.
Well, Rob, let's grab a cocktail and dive right in. Thank you to Republic Restoratives for the cocktails. I have my Manhattan right here card.
And I have my Ambrosia Spritzer. It's going to be delicious. It is now my pleasure to introduce this evening's first guest. It is Naseema Shafi. She is the executive director of Whitman-Walker Health, and she leads an incredibly dynamic team of over 300 staff. She herself has been working at Whitman-Walker for over 15 years. It's her vision for growth and community that has brought us to this point and creates a pathway for further growth. Let me welcome Whitman-Walker Health's leader, Naseema Shafi.
Thank you, Rachel and Rob. You've been amazing stewards of this event, and we're so very grateful. I am honored to welcome you to our first ever virtual Going the Extra Mile event. I want to thank all of our generous sponsors of tonight's events, as well as our community partners and pro bono volunteers. I have to tell you that through the COVID-19 pandemic, Going the Extra Mile is precisely what our legal services and public benefits teams and our pro bono volunteers have been doing. From meeting clients through telephone visits and in person at our Whitman-Walker locations to meeting them in parks and on sidewalk benches, this team has extended care beyond our walls in ways that continue to meet the needs and challenges of our clients. And yet, that extension of care is exactly who we are. Ingrained in our DNA is the call to do more. In a 72-hour period of time in March of 2020, we converted our in-person care model into virtual healthcare and opened COVID-specific clinics at both of our healthcare locations in Northwest and Southeast DC. We provided over 35,000 telehealth visits from the start of the pandemic through the end of 2020, in some cases providing more care than we did in 2019. We also reached more people than ever before through our social media channels, answering questions about COVID and safety, hosting Q&As with legal staff to respond to questions around name and gender marker documentation in English and in Spanish. And those are just a few examples. On the national advocacy front, our Whitman-Walker team navigated through the last year of the Trump administration, participating in another crucial lawsuit challenging the administration's changes to the non-discrimination portions of the Affordable Care Act found in Section 1557. And in the aftermath of the murder of George Floyd, our team and community grieved, protested, and recommitted to dismantling institutional racism, and especially to extending and making accessible to our Black and Brown patients. I could not be prouder of the nearly 300 employees of Whitman-Walker for their incredible hard work, endurance, and commitment over the past year. We are still operating with incredible challenges. Your support through this year and tonight helps us to remember that there is light in the darkness. And it allows us to continue to achieve our dream of expanding care in DC. As many of you know, we will build a new space in Congress Heights on the campus of the old St. Elizabeth's Hospital. This building will house more than 65,000 square feet of health center space and 15,000 square feet of Whitman-Walker Institute space. With that building, we will physically demonstrate our commitment to residents of Wards 7 and 8, and we will offer affirming care and legal services to even more in our community. Our legal services and public benefits staff at the Max Robinson Center have for many years been constrained, just like their colleagues, by outdated facilities. In 2023, when we open our new site in Southeast, that will all change. Stay with us on this journey. The future is bright. Like all businesses, the pandemic has led us to rethink just about everything. But one thing that I have never worried about is the support of the DC legal community. Your pro bono support and your generous financial gifts are critical to our programs. We need to grow to meet the needs of our clients, and we need you to continue that growth. Thank you so much. Enjoy the evening's events. Back to you, Rachel and Rob.
Thank you, Nasima, for your inclusive leadership. The expansion into Southeast DC is so exciting and so needed.
And now we want to thank tonight's key sponsor, the law firm Arnold & Porter, which has made a decades-long commitment to Whitman-Walker Legal Services. They've been an invaluable partner at all phases of the movement. Let's welcome Phil Horton from Arnold & Porter and Amy Nelson from Legal Services staff to tell us more.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Amy Nelson. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the director of the Legal Services program at Whitman-Walker Health. I am joined by the illustrious Phil Horton from Arnold & Porter. Before we jump into our conversation, I'd like to take a moment of silence to reflect on and remember those we've lost in the past year to hate, violence, and disease. Thank you. So welcome everyone to Going the Extra Mile 2021. I am thrilled that you could be with us tonight. I know the audience includes so many fabulous volunteers, community partners, allies, sponsors, donors, clients, and staff. And I want to highlight the incredible commitment and dedication of the Whitman-Walker staff. We are a family, and the Legal Services and Public Benefits team work tirelessly to support our clients and our mission, and I can't thank them enough. And now I want to turn to Phil Horton and thank him and Arnold & Porter for their very generous support of tonight's event, and perhaps more importantly, the decades-long commitment that the firm has made to the Whitman-Walker Clinic, to the Whitman-Walker Health System, and to our clients. Dating back to the 80s, they've been an important part of our history. Phil, why don't you tell us a little bit more about your commitment to pro bono work?
Well, my commitment goes back to early days. I've been involved in pro bono my whole career, and I was the chair of the pro bono program at Arnold & Porter for close to 20 years and heavily involved in the program for years before that. And I've also been heavily involved with many of the other providers in the city, but Whitman-Walker being a personal favorite. And poverty law, justice issues that don't necessarily grab the headlines, but working one-on-one with people who have difficulty navigating the system, who see a life of injustice and who need someone to help them. And it's been that individual representation which I've tried to focus on, and so many at my firm have tried to focus on over the years. It's quite a partnership. I think we've had something north of 130 lawyers and staff have volunteered on various matters at Whitman-Walker over the years. And the work, of course, has evolved over the years. You know, we started with it was largely an AIDS-based practice at the beginning, but of course, the push more and more is to bring more and more members of the human family in to get equal treatment, equal dignity, to get justice before the law. And particularly these days, of course, transgender issues are front and center. We're working on a very large transgender discrimination case right now for a transgendered woman who was a teacher in the PG County school system, who, when she announced what her true gender was, suffered terrible discrimination, broad-based, students, staff, their parents, just terrible threats of not just snickering, not just jokes, real threats of violence that made her fear for her safety. Tried to change schools, did no good. The school did nothing to discipline students who would mistreat this teacher. Eventually, the pressure got so bad that she had to leave teaching. We've got some motion practice going on right now. We expect it to go to trial later this year, and we're hoping for justice. It's a case which has come out of the Supreme Court's terrific decision. Not something I say about many Supreme Court decisions these days, but the decision which extended the 1964 Civil Rights Act employment discriminations to transgendered persons. And so we're trying to make that a reality in this case.
Back in the day, the calls that we got were really about HIV and AIDS and sometimes sexual orientation. Occasionally, we still get those calls, but certainly the bulk of our work these days is around gender identity. And I know that Arnold and Porter has been a strong partner of ours in the Name and Gender Change Clinic, which we launched back in 2012 and just recently hit its 2,000 client mark. So we're thrilled about that.
Yeah, the really important work to get names changed and to get them changed on documents. I mean, you can't live in today's society if your driver's license isn't in your name. Well, Amy, as you know, I've been working with Whitman-Walker for many years, but it's a particular pleasure to be here for going the extra mile. And it's a perfect name. I mean, you guys have been going the extra mile for a long time, particularly dating back to the early days of the AIDS crisis, when I can remember when people wouldn't even walk into a room with people with AIDS. They were so scared. Just to take those few steps to shake the hand of a person who was ill was seen as going the extra mile. You've been doing it all these years, and you should be so proud of that. We were talking about how the work has evolved, but one thing that has never changed is your commitment, which you just mentioned, to health-based issues. It was another thing that we've been involved in, I've been involved in since the beginning, is the Part D clinics, Medicare Part D clinics for the federal prescription drug benefit. If anyone has ever tried to do this, I don't know how somebody could do this without help.
Well, I appreciate you mentioning that, and I wanted to just take a moment to highlight that the team that we have, the community we've built between our volunteers and our staff, is wholly and completely dedicated to keeping our clients safe, to keeping them healthy, and keeping them connected to healthcare. We truly are a medical legal partnership, and we appreciate the unfailing support of pro bono partners and volunteers like Arnold and Porter. So thank you very much, Phil, for your many decades of support and work with us.
It's been an honor and a privilege for me and for all the Arnold and Porter lawyers. We just thank you for the work that you're doing and that you continue to do.
Thanks, everyone, for being a part of Going the Extra Mile tonight. We have a great lineup in store for you. We've got some amazing musical acts. You're going to hear from more of our volunteer partners. You're going to hear from more of our clients and, of course, our amazing staff. And I can't thank them enough from the bottom of my heart for their commitment to our shared mission. So please join us in celebrating tonight. Grab a drink and enjoy our evening. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us tonight and Going the Extra Mile. We're so glad that you're here with us. Danny, Gwen, and I all work in the Public Benefits and Insurance Navigation Department, and we work closely with legal to make sure all of our patients can access and stay connected to their health care. Danny, how long have we been around?
Thanks, Keith. We've been around since 2008, before the Affordable Care Act, and we're still going strong. Gwen, tell us a little bit more about what we do.
Thanks, Danny. We meet with our patients to help them get enrolled in public insurance and other public benefits and insurance from the Affordable Care Act. We meet with over 500 patients every month.
Thank
you.
And thank you, Arnold and Porter, for all you are doing currently and all you've done over the years. It's amazing. You know, when Phil was speaking, I was thinking about my own experience starting to volunteer with Whitman-Walker in the 90s. And again, people weren't living with HIV, they were dying of AIDS. And I remember one client that I formed a particularly strong bond with. He was a physician. As a result of the HIV infection, he had gone deaf. And really what he wanted to do was die with dignity. And I worked with him to be able to give his condo back to a mortgage company so he would not be subject to collection as he was dying. And because he was deaf, we had to pass notes back and forth to each other. And we formed a really strong relationship. And we had this running joke between ourselves about Little Red Riding Hood. And before he died, he gave me this book of finger puppets. It's sort of hard to see, but it's Little Red Riding Hood written in French because he was actually trilingual. And it's a situation where I feel like I got much more out of that relationship. I was able to give him dignity as he was dying. And that is the gift that many of our volunteer lawyers, including an Arnold and Porter, gives. They give people respect and dignity. And that's what we're all here to do tonight, not only to defend rights, but to treat people as people.
Oh, Rob, that is such a heartwarming story. It makes me want to give you the heart like this. And it's part of the, like Rob said, it's part of the reason why we're here. We just ask if you can to please donate. And you'll see below on your screen, it's scrolling there where you can donate to. Please donate. We are so happy to welcome our performers for the evening, Oh He Dead. So Oh He Dead is a smoky, groovy indie soul band from here in Washington, D.C., led by the stirringly passionate harmonies of Cynthia Johnson and Andrew Valenti. Oh He Dead mixes R&B influences with poignant lyrics to move both your soul and your feet.
What's up, everybody? This is CJ.
This is Andy.
We are
Oh He Dead.
We're a band from Washington, D.C. It is an honor to be with you today for Whitman-Walker's event, Going the Extra Mile.
I'm glad you guys brought us in, and hopefully you guys enjoy the music that we play for you today.
Absolutely. We think it's a great cause that you guys are supporting. We're really honored to be a part of it. We love that you guys are supporting some populations that are really underserved with really important legal resources. So thank you for doing what you do, Whitman-Walker Legal Services team. And to everybody that's attending tonight, I hope you open up those checkbooks for this really great cause. We're going to play a couple songs. This song is called Better Than You. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Summertime, green, cold line. I felt a touch and I felt a touch and I. We were a cool breeze through summer trees. I thought we'd never be. You said we'd never be. We were together back then, but we were never again. You like to play it hard, but you know I play it smart. Why I feel better, whoa, I feel better than you. Oh. Why I feel better, whoa, I feel better than you. Oh. to his house, sun on my skin, going to see the boy that gave me all my joy. I found you and her laying in your bed. The fighting bell had rung, and I went and grabbed my gun. We were together back there. Oh, but you were never up there. You had to play it hard, but you know I play it smart. Oh, I feel better. Whoa, I feel better than you. Oh, now I feel better. Whoa, I feel better than you. Oh, well, I feel better. I feel so much better. Whoa, I feel better than you. Oh, well, I feel better. I feel so much better. Whoa, I feel better than you. Oh, I feel better. Whoa, I feel better than you. Oh, I feel better. Whoa, I feel better than you. Oh.
Thank you guys.
Hi, Going the Extra Mile. I'm Murray. I started at Whitman-Walker back in 1991, the year that Congress passed the Ryan-White Act. Erin, when did you start?
Hey Murray, thanks. I started in 1997, and that was the year that Whitman-Walker replaced the blood test for an HIV test with an oral test. Haley, what about you?
Thanks so much, Erin. I started working at Whitman-Walker Health in 2004. And did you know that in 2004, the National AIDS Marathon Program raised $3.4 million for the clinic?
Wow, thankfully, I had no idea. I started back in 2014 as a legal intern, which was the year that Whitman-Walker changed the name of our annual AIDS Walk to the Walk to End HIV, to know all the strides we've made medically and legally against, in our fight against HIV. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your support. Without you, we couldn't do it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The Whitman-Walker Legal Services team has served over 2,795 clients with 3,300 cases since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic.
And to add to that, 25% of our clients are trans-identified, and another 20% of our clients are immigrants. Amazing, amazing work.
And you can support this amazing, amazing work by copying the link below into your URL and giving now.
And now we're going to hear from a Whitman-Walker staff attorney and one of their name and gender change clients.
My name is Elizabeth Funalini, and I use they, them pronouns. It is great to be here tonight, and I am a staff attorney with Whitman-Walker Health.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad to be here as well. I'm Kyrie. I use he, him pronouns. So I remember back in 2019, I was trying to look up ways or how to find a way to change my name and how to even go about it. Because with me, like trying to find a way into that, I had no idea what to do. And I saw Whitman-Walker's homepage. And then once I clicked it, I saw a clinic for like a name change. And I called a number, and then I got set up for an appointment back in January of 2020.
It must have been a pretty fantastic experience to finally get that court order, huh? What was it like to finally have that court order in hand?
It felt like it was like the golden ticket. Like Charlie had his golden ticket. That's definitely what it felt like. Like I was just so pleased. And from then on, I started booking like my appointments for the MVA appointments, like for Social Security and everything. And I just sent out everything. And it's funny because even me waiting for the actual court order, I had actually already had like my envelopes that I had to send out to the official like, the government places. I had already put the addresses on them. So I was like, all I'm waiting for is this court order. I have everything set for every facility to send to. So once I had the court order, I just had to get the copies and then send everything out. That's how ready I was.
You came back to Whitman-Walker, I think, around October because you're having an issue with the Montgomery court. Is that right?
Yes, actually, in the middle of the case and waiting back for the name change, I actually filed a motion to seal the court records after they be granted because I didn't want any of the history of my old legal name or former legal name to be in like any court system or any system at all, really. So, and they denied it once, and then I filed another appeal in August again, and then they denied that again. So I definitely was like, okay, it's time to seek out some legal help as to how I can actually get this sealed so that they don't have to send me something that's going to be denying it again.
Okay. Because then the court sent you a notice actually scheduling you for a hearing on your motion to seal. And then that's how you and I got together again.
I was like, is this even going to be in the courtroom with COVID? Is it going to be virtual? And I just started thinking, like, I don't even have a lawyer. I don't even know how this works. I've never been in any legal trouble or anything legal-wise that I even needed to seek a lawyer. So I was, like, nervous.
How were you feeling throughout that entire process?
I felt nervous at first, but then once I realized, like, okay, because I've worked with you before, Liz, and I was comfortable with you even in the name change clinic the day that I visited in January, I was like, okay, this is easy. This is somebody that I'm familiar with. We were studying and you gave me tips on how, of course, it's nerve-wracking, but as long as I have confidence, and gave me tips on like what to do and what not to do. During the hearing, of course, I was nervous. Like, all of this has had me nervous. But just actually being in front of the judge, I remember that the judge wasn't even the person who came out first. It was, I believe, like 3 other women who were on the side of the judge. And then when the judge came, I was like, oh, crap. Like, getting real now. Like, everything just got real. So I was just there. I remember my heart beating, like me having butterflies. Like, what the judge going to say to me? Is like the judge going to speak to me first? Or what's going on? But I kept my cool. You did your amazing introduction, and I remember that, like, this is like probably the most, like, my favorite thing that I remember most about the whole hearing is that your intro was so great that honestly the judge said that he didn't even need to hear any more, and we were willing to say more, and he didn't need to hear any more. Just my overall thoughts on the entire journey was that it was a long and exhausting journey, and of course COVID in fact made it even longer, but I'm honestly glad that, like, I wouldn't even change it. I actually like the fact that it was long because it teaches you patience. Like, it also, I already am a patient like person, but it taught me more patient because definitely, like, something I've learned in life is that the more that you have to wait for something, the more permanent and better that it is when it comes to you. Like, it's finally in your hands. So I'm grateful that everything went the way it did. And I'm just glad that I had you as well as your whole team of Whitman-Walker to help me through the entire process because I couldn't have done it without any of you guys. So I'm definitely thankful that Whitman-Walker even exists. For me, it's like a whole fresh new beginning, nothing linked to my former name or my former life. And it's just really like a refreshment, like nothing linked to my former name, because like that stuff just kind of brought me down, and being reminded of that's something that I never want to be reminded about ever again. So just this is just like a new fresh start, like a new life. Thank you again. I wouldn't have done it without you. So we finished together. So thank you for helping me get to the finish line and giving me that push.
Well, welcome back, everyone. I can relate to Kyrie's story. As a trans woman, I needed to get my gender identity documents changed. But for me, I transitioned when I was 19. I am 46 right now, and I didn't know how to do that. So I looked like this with my biological birth name the whole time, most of my adult life. So I understand how it felt to finally learn about the Name and Gender Change Clinic, and for people to be so willing to help you, mesh your identity with your identity documents. It was very helpful for me. I can totally relate to going into that courtroom in 2018, sweating buckets, thinking, oh my God, is this judge looking at me like I'm crazy? But I'm so thankful for the name and Gender Change Clinic, because starting in 2018, I am able to now have my gender identity documents match what my true gender is. And the clinic really helped me do that. And it really stirred in me the want to be involved more in my community, and which really led me to Whitman-Walker and kind of where I am today. So I loved Kyrie's story, his passion about it, and I know how that feels. It was just a great day for me as well, Rob.
I'm giving this heart back to you right now. Thank you for sharing that incredibly personal story. It's really powerful. And the work that Whitman-Walker staff and volunteers do every day is incredibly powerful. And we need your support. We need you to take advantage of the link that's at the bottom of your page, copy it into your URL, and help support this work that really gives people the ability to change their lives. I can't think about what it would be like for you, Rachel, to go through the airport with male identified documents. It just tears me up. So thank you for being personal, and let's all get behind this program.
Hi, friends.
Hi.
Are you still here? Look, I'm wearing my Pride flower crown just for you. So make sure you donate. Also, did you know that every fourth person we help is an immigrant? I used to be an undocumented immigrant, and now I'm an attorney at Whitman-Walker Health Legal Services, and I get to serve the LGBTQ immigrant community, which is pretty amazing. Here you go, Leonor.
Thank you, Christina. Hi, how are you all doing? I am also an immigrant. Like, we are a microcosm of this country. So a bunch of us, the Whitman-Walker, are foreign-born. And did you know how I started working at Whitman-Walker? I was actually working in the Caribbean, came to DC, worked as a medical interpreter for a while, and fell so in love with Whitman-Walker, and I stalked Amy Nelson, the legal director, until she gave me a job. So please give up. Please contribute. Here you go, Liz.
Great. Thanks so much, Leonor. I agree. I love Whitman-Walker so much. In fact, I started out as an intern back in 2016, and I've never left, and now I'm a staff attorney here. And one really cool thing about Whitman-Walker is that we actually started way back in 1973 as a gay men's health clinic. It was located in a church basement in Georgetown, and then we actually hired our first lawyer in 1986.
Yay! Thank you.
Hi, my name's Murray Shield. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm a staff attorney at Whitman-Walker Legal Services, and I'm here with my colleague.
Hey everyone, my name is Jess Davis Ritchie, staff attorney at Whitman-Walker Legal Services Program. I use they, them pronouns, and we're here with our client Aisha. And we're coming live today from Joseph's house here in Washington, D.C.
Hi, I'm Aisha. I'm a client at Whitman-Walker. My pronouns is she and her. We use the legal team, the dental department team, the psych department team, break room, and stable families. I'm a mom of 3. I've been working at the same company for 8 years, and then all of a sudden, life happened. And Dr. Abbott called me, and he's like, "You need to go to George Washington's Emergency Center right now because you need a blood transfusion." And then next thing I know, I had a brain infection, and also I had kidney failure. I've been working since I was 14 years old. So from working from 14 and then all of a sudden 34, not working because of health issues. And so I get Social Security disability, which Erica and Jess was able to assist with that. And Yeah, that's how I'm able to feed my children. Whitman-Walker also allowed me to get food voucher to help care for the kids. Because I was in the hospital at Georgetown, I had a staph infection in my right eye, and I had to get a transplant. And Murray rode his bicycle to the place and
in Georgetown, no,
in Georgetown, and told me like different things like healthcare power of attorney, designated guardianship. I go to Max Robson and also 14th, Whitman-Walker, and my doctor is Dr. Abbott. And, he gave me like 3 months to live. So I wanted to make sure that everything was in place and that they stay together because I had 2 children at that present time.
And so together we drafted up a will for you to designate guardianship. Correct. And also a standby guardianship. Correct. And power of attorney and local parentis, just so people could manage your kids.
And then Erica Duray, one of our supervising attorneys on the legal team at that time, was able to help with the initial disability application.
Yeah, like she asked me a lot of questions, and we went over the application together. We submitted the application together, and then she actually personally took it in to the Social Security building so they could start the process. And the turnaround for me was 15 days.
Wow.
And I was still in the hospital during the COVID situation. I had a couple of incidents when whoever was taking care of them was taking them to the hospital and they wasn't being seen because the fact that they was not parents. So therefore, with that documentation, they could travel, they could do everything. They could go to get shots, they could go and get physicals. So if I didn't have that, they would have to wait on me to come out of the rehabilitation center that I'm in at this present time.
Right, and this is why you're trying to get better. You're battling
various cases. Dialysis is kicking my behind. If anybody want to donate a kidney,
you have our number.
You have our number. It's just been a blessing. I tell people that you need to get your affairs in place. And if you have children, you want your children to be in arms of people that that you would trust, because you dealt with them every day. So you know who's good for your kids, who's not good for your kids, who your kids will respect, who your kids won't respect, and you just gonna need to put that in paper.
Right.
And don't allow other situations or other people make decisions that you should have made for your family. I had an eye transplant, so I always tell people, if you want to donate, if you're going to cremate your body, donate your body, because I was a recipient of a donor's right eye. So I go to an all women's group with Whitman-Walker, which is the break room. Also, it is stable families and stable families will help you. And it also stems from Whitman-Walker. When Metro Teenage turned into Stable Families, and then Stable Families turned into Whitman-Walker, I was like, whoa. It's like, I don't have to go to 10 locations. Now I could just go to one location and get all my services done. And on the one on 14th Street, I get everything done. My nutritionist, I get my nutritionist done there. Physical therapy. They used to do Zumba and stuff like that. Right. I was in that class, and then a break room class with all women that are dealing with health issues, that from being positive or being, diabetic. We just all different ages come together to just talk about our health and how we can work together and help each other. And after you leave the break room, you still talk to them, so it's like a relationship that keep on building. Because I always say, it's your story, my story, and the truth. And it's not to say that like I'm lying or you're lying, but we see things different through the eyes of what was given to us.
That's incredible. I just think you have such an incredible story, Aisha. Yeah. And to all, like you talked about all of the many battles that you've had to fight, and that you've reached out for support, and you've done.
And it was
everything in
hard.
your power.
It was so hard to reach out because like I'm like a person that don't want to talk about anything. I'd rather help you instead of telling you what's going on with myself.
And I know that initially, you were a little reticent about what we were going to do, but then you came around, and it was great. We put a lot of effort into that, and I thought it was a really good plan that you came up with.
The first time around when you explained it to me, like you really went into detail on each document it's for. I think I know more about it now. I gotta teach a class now.
You really know.
And I really know, and I appreciate it. I am so grateful for Whitman-Walker because I'm here to tell that story, and I'm here. I'm alive because of them, because of the services that they have provided for me.
Oh, Rob, I mean, that client testimonial really shows you how the work Whitman-Walker Legal Services is doing is so important. Wouldn't you agree?
It's amazing. Like, this is an example. Literally, the program saves a life. It gave this woman a sense of community, a sense of belonging. It's not just her life, the life of her children. And I just want to point out that the staff literally went the extra mile. Murray rode his bike to visit this client in the hospital. Staff walked papers into the Social Security office. That is literally going the extra mile. And that's what makes this program so amazing. And now we would like to introduce you to Sandy James and Lisa Wise. Sandy James is an attorney and researcher with extensive experience in law, policy, and research on issues impacting the trans and LGBTQ community, including those related to health, employment, housing, and other areas of life. Sandy first made his connection to Whitman-Walker Health as a legal services volunteer in the life-changing Name Change Clinic, and he has been a supporter of the organization's essential mission ever since. He's a former board chair and current board member of Whitman-Walker Health.
And Lisa Wise is the owner and founder of Flock DC, a family of purpose-driven, socially responsible real estate management companies here in DC. They tend to over $1 billion in property across all 8 wards of the city. Lisa's work has always been cause-driven and community-oriented. Flock recently launched their anti-racist initiative, Birdseed, a grant program for first-time Black and Brown home buyers. She serves as the board chair for Whitman-Walker Health. It's my honor to welcome Sandy and Lisa.
I am Lisa Wise, and my pronouns are she and her, and it is a thrill to be here tonight.
I'm Sandy James, and my pronouns are he, him, and I could not be more excited to be here with you all and with Lisa.
So, Sandy, we've had a chance to work together for a few years now, even though we haven't seen each other in what seems like many years. When I got to know you on the board of Whitman-Walker, it is clear that what energizes you almost more than anything that we do, and there's so many critical and important things we do, is legal services. Tell me a little bit about where that energy comes from.
Absolutely. And so I consider myself a huge legal services cheerleader. And so much of that comes from my own connection to legal services. I started out as a legal services volunteer back when I was in law school. I was in the life-changing Name and Gender Change Clinic, which is still going strong and is a model for lots of other clinics around the country. And I actually also used those services myself. And later on, got to know Whitman-Walker in other ways. So I'm a huge fan of the work that is done, the tireless work. And we've seen so much of that tonight in tonight's program.
Yeah, and I think Rachel and Rob have done a terrific job of putting on what is, I think, a signature event for the organization, and obviously an event I miss being in person. But even knowing that we can bring this kind of energy to the community and highlight, I think, something that makes Whitman-Walker really special. And at the end of the day, legal services is part of the fabric of Whitman-Walker, and it's what makes our work so extraordinary. It's one of a kind and it's essential. People don't think about health and legal services. And I think it's what makes being a volunteer and honestly a donor to Whitman-Walker feel like exactly the right place to be.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Whitman-Walker is is, as I've said in the past, a model for others around the country. It's the oldest medical legal partnership in the country, and it is phenomenal at the work that is done. So many people are able to improve their lives just by coming through legal services and getting in care, getting into healthcare, but also really addressing all of the social determinants of health. And I know that all of you who are part of this event tonight recognize the incredible work that is done by the Legal Services Department.
And you can't get away from the fact that what we're doing has, a real need for as many resources as possible, and it does take an entire community to create programs like this that are so unique and essential to what we do. And I know our goal tonight is to raise $250,000. I think we're going to get there. I think it takes all of you to dig deep and to remember that this is a one-of-a-kind signature organization with a signature program that offers those wraparound services to people that allow them truly to follow their paths and live their full lives. And I think, the Whitman-Walker tagline is "We see you."
And there's just so much more we can do. So we just want to ask that you continue to give in any way that you can. No amount is too small. No amount is too large. So just give as much as you can, and you'll be able to see the impacts of your donations.
Yeah, and there are so many things Whitman-Walker's up to, and I know that this is our spotlight on legal services. But as we continue to fund this program, we're also thinking more about health and equity. And equity is about meeting people where those needs are. Legal services delivers exactly that. I know I'm very excited about Whitman-Walker's expansion east of the river at St. Elizabeth's. It's going to be a big part of our footprint going forward, and we're going to be able to expand these legal services to that area as well. We know that need doesn't come to you, that in order to be really effective as an organization, we have to be where the need exists. And this, like I said, legal services is really where we've done that. We're going to continue to do that. Whitman-Walker has stayed on the forefront and will continue to do so. And it's because we have so many exceptional partners in the field and in this community. It may be that lawyers are the state bird in DC, but there are a lot of good birds out there. I work for a bird-themed company, so I know what I'm talking about.
And I wanted to give a shout out to all of the volunteers for legal services. We have an amazing staff here at Whitman-Walker Health, but we couldn't do a lot of what we do without volunteers. So you just want to give a shout out to all those legal services volunteers at any stage of their careers. You give your time and energy, and it's so essential to making sure that we can have the impact we have. And I just wanted to reiterate, there are lots of ways in which you can give. Of course, we're hoping that you are able to make a donation tonight. And again, you've seen the work that we've been doing and will continue to be doing for as long as we can, but just give it any way you can. But I wanted to give an extra shout out to those volunteers who allow us to get everything done. And I also wanted to just give a shout out to Whitman-Walker's CEO, Naseema Shafi, who has done a phenomenal job here of leading us through some incredibly difficult times, unprecedented, challenging times. And Lisa, I know you can weigh in on that from your perspective as the board chair.
Naseema embodied confidence, commitment, passion, and a willingness to do just absolutely everything it took to make sure we offered a continuity of services and not just clinical services and those legal services as well. She not only took care of her patient community, her board, but her staff, and she was entirely selfless in doing so. To watch her lead through this moment has been awe-inspiring. So all props to her. I know it was a team sport and a big team effort, but Naseema led the way. And I don't think that there's a better qualified person to get us to the next space. And it's a thrill to work with her.
Just wanted to thank everyone once again for being here tonight at this amazing event. And it's almost at its conclusion. Before we end, we just wanted to really give some love to the staff. The legal services staff has been phenomenal. All of Whitman-Walker staff has been phenomenal during this time, this pandemic, this unprecedented event. Everyone has gone above and beyond, really going the extra mile, if you will, to make sure that all Whitman-Walker patients are served and anyone who comes through the door can be served. So we just wanted to thank staff again for everything they've done. And we want to ask you to just continue giving, There's no need to stop giving after the event is over.
One of the great advantages of operating sort of in this virtual format is we've been able to include so many more staff members, and they deserve to be here. It has been really their show. They have gone the extra mile again and again this year. We know they're going to do it again next, and the year after that, and the year after that. And all you do to give and support this work will support them in delivering an exceptional service for Whitman-Walker. So thank you so much. We're going to kick it back to Rachel and Rob. We're going to close with a song, and we're going to once again thank you for supporting the Extra Mile.
What an absolutely amazing evening it has been, Rob. But I want to talk to all of you watching. There is still time to show your support for the Whitman-Walker legal staff by donating via copying the links below.
That's right, Rachel. And it's time to make sure that we all do our part in supporting the continuity of this amazing work. At this point, I'd like to thank our guests and performers for helping make this a super fun evening. And I want to thank the Whitman-Walker legal staff who do this day in, day out, our volunteers, and the clients and all of you out there who make this evening so special. And I also want to thank our sponsors. Thank you for Arnold and Porter, for our marathoners, Aiken Gump, Covington, Sidley, for our sprinters, Beveridge and Diamond, Latham and Watkins, and Cooley, and for all the other amazing law firms that help make this work a reality day to day.
In addition, we'd like to thank some of our other funders, the DC Bar Foundation, the DC Mayor's Office, the Maryland Legal Services Corporation, Washington AIDS Partnership, and Trans Legal Advocates of Washington, or Trans Law, to which I sit on the steering committee.
And now we're going to roll this show out with Oh, He Dead.
Hey, CJ. What do you get when you mix a pelican and a jackhammer? I don't know either, but one thing I do know is that Whitman-Walker Legal Services needs your donations, okay?
Why
They are
did you-
doing this amazing service out here in the world, and they need your support. That's
They
why
need
we're
your
here.
support.
That's why you're here. And look,
That's why we're all here.
I didn't want to say it,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to say it.
Say it. Say what you got. What's on your mind?
These people got some money.
How you know that?
I saw the guest list and did some Googling.
Mm-hmm.
And some of y'all's net worths.
And you can't bring people's net worths into this.
I'm just saying.
You can't bring people's net worths into this.
Cheryl, in particular, crushing it. But
why y'all up in their business?
It's public information. All I'm saying is we know.
No, you know.
We both.
You know.
We
All up
together.
in their business.
Collectively,
No,
us.
no.
We know that you guys. You got a little bit of that quiche. You
And
got
you
a little
go-
bit of that
you go-
sweet quiche. And all we're saying is.
What'd you say? One more time for the people in the back. I don't think they heard you. Okay.
Give a little bit.
Give a little bit.
Give a little bit.
I got it. Okay.
Anyway, we're gonna play another song. And if you smiled at any point during that intro, you have to donate at least several $1,000s. Thank you.
I guess I'm gonna be donating a lot of money.
1, 2, you know.
Treats me like a toy. And in the winter time, a lover's joy. It keeps me nice and warm. But I can't wait to see you again. I want to be a friend. But I my funky mind. Your love is due. Autumn leaves, you shake my tree. I can't help but fall. And if you'll be my cherry blossom, I'll be your honeybee. But I can't wait to see you again. I don't want this to end. But I can't wait to, and I just want to get you back again. Because your love sends me through space and time. Your love it do. Your love blowing up my funky mind. Your love it do. And I say, your love sends me through space and time. Your love is due. Your love blowing up my funky mind. Your love is due. Your love sends me through space and time. Yeah. Your love is due. Your love blowing up my funky mind. Your love is due. Your love is due. Your love is due. Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much for having us.